Thank you for inviting me today to come to Springfield. It's an honor to be here at the State Capitol, part of this very important project. It is a very special and much needed project brought to you by the Simon Wiesenthal Center. As Ellison said, hate crimes are still on the rise. In 2017, almost 60% of the victims of hate crimes in Illinois were targeted because of a bias towards race, ethnicity, or ancestry. A rise of 17%, a jump that was partly driven by a spike in anti-Semitic incidents. And only the anti-Jewish offenses were a 37% increase, but there was also a 23% increase in overall religious-based hate crimes. I think we all can agree that this is not a good trend, that we have to do something about it. But what can we do? What is this something? Everybody defines this different and approaches this problem different, and in comparison to minors, it's often easier for adults to deal with these problems and find solutions. But not every adult is a teacher or knows the facts good enough to explain the significance of those numbers to their children. And very often, adults don't see this problem at all because they don't experience this hatred. So why should they talk to their kids about it? It's not their problem, so they say. There's a reason why this project is so important to me, personally, and why I can relate so much. Even though now I'm a civil rights and a human rights activist, there's been a time in my life when I was a very different man. 20 years ago, I was one of those who was preaching hate against minorities. Jews, African Americans, immigrants, people with a different belief system. The list of my enemies was long. I was a Nazi. Not just a follower. I was an influencer and a teacher, a leader. The thing is, I wasn't raised like that. Nobody is born with a hatred. I was just an unpopular kid coming from the typical dysfunctional family. And I was looking for a purpose. I needed to be somebody. I needed an identity. And I felt like my wishes and talents, they were not seen, they were overlooked. And when I found out that anything related to Hitler, the Nazis, the Third Reich, and the Holocaust was just that shocker, a skeleton in the closet overseas. I'm originally from Germany. That brought me attention, so I just started using it, just for the sake of the attention. And even though it was just pure provocation at the beginning, it turned into real hatred at some point. And looking back, I know that it wasn't only the missing emotional support. The other big issue was of academic nature. I was born in 1975. That's the second generation after World War II. My mother was born in 1945. And of course, like in school, we discussed the war. We watched Schindler's List and all that. But we never discussed the whole extent of the Holocaust like we would have needed to. Yes, we went over the numbers and we learned that it must never happen again. But we didn't learn about the why, the how could it happen that a whole population turned against a minority and committed genocide. This is badly missing. It was too little education about such a sensitive and important topic to raise the needed awareness that I would have needed to not get carried away by the hatred that I learned. Eventually, I found a way out of that hate. Not everybody is that fortunate and they're stuck in that hate. So my mother didn't teach me about these dangers of hatred, bigotry, and intolerance. And the thing is, many parents don't. They don't either. I don't know, maybe it is because it's the second and the third generation that they feel less responsible. It indeed has been a long time that the last Jew was freed from a concentration camp. And it has been a long time since segregation ended on paper. And history gets forgotten fast. The problem is forgotten history tends to repeat itself if you don't learn from it. But to learn from it, we need education. And the Mogul Tolerance Education Center, from the Wiesenthal Center, will bring this education to students from all backgrounds in the entire state of Illinois. They will talk about experiences of minority groups, the commonality of their shared experiences, and the importance of fighting prejudice and bigotry in all its forms. It will bring this much-needed education for this new generation to never forget. An education that would have prevented me from becoming the hateful person I was 20 years ago if I would have had this important project in education. Please support this important project. Thank you.